I am a messenger. I deliver the message to the audience. I come from a country which has the richest history in the world. To be able to deliver the message from my country is something that I'm so committed and I'm so happy to do it.
Welcome to NCPA On Stage, where we bring you closer to the artists and performances at China's National Center for the Performing Arts. I'm Shi Ying. Today we're delighted to welcome one of the most celebrated violinists of our time, Mr. Ning Feng. A gold medalist at the Paganini International Violin Competition, Ning Feng is renowned not only for his virtuosic technique and lyrical tone, but also for his dedication to bridging cultures through music. We recorded this conversation during the 2025 NCPA May Festival, where Ning Feng returned to Beijing with a very special program. In this interview, Ning Feng shares his deep passion for Chinese violin music, especially Zhao Jiping's Violin Concerto No. 1. He also reflects on the role of musicians in fostering cultural exchange. Over the past few years, every time you return to the NCPA, you always bring something very thoughtfully planned for the audience. And each year you would focus on a specific composer. So this time, you've invited your friends to present several works by Dmitri Shostakovich. Could you share with us how you planned these programs?
Yesterday I did this chamber music concert, and tonight I'm playing the second violin concerto written by Shostakovich, and tomorrow I'm performing the first violin concerto also written by him. Mm-hmm. So the reason why we are focusing so much on Shostakovich's music is because that this year is actually the 50th anniversary of his death. He passed away in 1975. So it's precisely now 50 years, and we use this occasion to celebrate, to pay tribute to this great human being who have given us so much in the past century.
A few days ago, I just interviewed cellist Zhao, and he says Shostakovich's music is very intense and passionate. It's especially appealing to young audiences. So from your perspective, how do you understand Shostakovich as a composer, and how is he perceived among Chinese audiences today?
Well, I totally agree with what Mr. Zhao said. So, I mean, Shostakovich actually had, for me, he found a balance of how to attract listeners through the pure pleasure of listening. At the same time, he also, with his music, he was able to really touch the deepest part in our heart. Mm-hmm. So with both sides, we have not only the pleasure of listening, I mean, it feels, wow, this is just so appealing. Yeah, but at the same time, after listening to his music, we go back home and there's something remain, either in the memory or somewhere in our heart, that we feel it always afterwards. Right. So this is something very unique, and which also probably makes him, for many people, I think they would agree, the greatest 20th century composer.
Turning to another major part of your work, you have been deeply committed to promoting Chinese violin music internationally. One landmark moment was in 2017, when you gave the world premiere of Zhao Jiping's Violin Concerto No. 1 with the NCPA Orchestra. Could you share your feelings and insights about this concerto? How did it resonate with you personally as a performer?
Well, to start with, I am Chinese. I'm so proud of that. And I always say that because what we do is the violin, the classic music, was not invented by our people, but by the Western people, I mean, 300-400 years ago. And we have different culture. For them to remember my name is difficult, because Ning Feng, the two words does not exist in their language. You know, it's not Jonathan, it's not Claudio, it's nothing like that. So, but I would always say that if I do something with the violin, in Europe or in America or in Australia, anywhere, the first thing that they would remember is that I'm Chinese. I come from a country which is called China. So it is my honor, it is my duty as well to perform as much as possible the great music that was created by our own composer. So it's also in a way my mission to deliver that message, because music is something that the composer had written down, obviously, but without the performer, it's just like looking at a piece of paper with words on it. But one has to be trained, one has to learn how to read and then how to pronounce in order to read it out to the audience. So I am a messenger. I deliver the message to the audience. And because my Chinese heritage, I come from a country which has the richest history in the world. To be able to deliver the message from my country is something that I'm so committed and I'm so happy to do. And with Mr. Zhao Jiping's Violin Concerto, which was commissioned by the NCPA Orchestra, and I've had the privilege to perform it for the first time, to premiere it. And the piece is like all the great music that Mr. Zhao had written. First of all, it's the melody is just so touching. It's very, very simple, but it's so touching. It immediately brings the deepest, the most organic Chinese culture out from everyone, regardless whether playing it or hearing it. And I talked to Mr. Zhao afterwards. He actually said that his piece is about love. And it's not just love between people, it's love in the whole society, between the person and society, between the person and the nature, between the person and the whole world. So I was sincerely touched by his music, and that gives me extra motivation whenever I am using the tool, the violin, to bring that message out. So I would deliver that sincere feeling, I mean, at least I was trying, to the audience. Ever since I performed it, I think every violin soloist from China has performed it. So yeah, it's really a must piece, and I feel so honored, I feel so lucky to play this piece.
After its premiere at the NCPA, you brought Zhao's concerto to audiences in the United States and other countries. So how is the responses among those foreign audiences?
It was very, very well received. I mean, if it's national, then it's always international. The national treasure is not just the treasure of one nation. It's the treasure of the whole world. So although we use different language to speak, but music is international. It might sound, obviously it sounds from the Far East where we are, but at the same time, it's not far. It is so close to the heart. So I remember that we toured this piece with the NCPA orchestra in America, and I've performed it also in Australia, in Europe, literally anywhere. And I've always been told by the people who were at the concert thing how much they've loved this piece, how much they've enjoyed it, listening to this piece.
Yeah, music truly transcends language barriers. And,
Indeed.
From a technical perspective, how does this concerto compare to those Western repertoires you often perform? Were there particular passages that feel especially natural or rewarding to play, or were there technical challenges that require special preparations?
Well, I have to see this from two different aspects. To start with, musically, it is so natural because this is my culture, this is my language. I share the same genes which creates this music. So musically, I did not feel anywhere in the piece or anywhere throughout the preparation to perform this piece that was unclear or was in a way unsure for me. It got me right at the beginning. However, of course, because I said the violin itself, it's a Western article. It's an item which was not created in this part of the world. And the training that we had as a violinist is obviously all these Western systems. And to perform Western piece and to perform Asian piece, not just Chinese piece, Asian piece, that we use much more here in Asia, pentatonic scales, which means that there are 5 instead of 7 notes in one scale. We have 5. So there are 2 notes in comparison with the Western system. There are 2 notes less than the Western scale system, and we use this pentatonic scale system in our music, which means that we have to always leave 2 notes out, which sometimes is quite uncomfortable because the basic training, all the technical etudes that we have is to do all 7 notes in the scale. And now all of a sudden we have to jump from, instead of 1, 2, 3, but 1, 3, 4, 5, and no 6, 7. Yeah, so this is a technical thing that all the string players, when we play, we more or less have to get used to it. Yeah, so this piece as well, and of course there's another piece which was written like 60 years ago, the Butterfly Lover Concerto as well, which when we learned it, we all at beginning experienced a bit of that difficulty. But because it's musically so natural, so all the technical aspects, once we worked on it, once we don't have to think about how to make it happen, then it becomes natural and authentic again.
It must have been a fascinating experience.
Yeah,
it's
very
very
nice,
different
yeah.
from the performances you usually encounter, right?
Yeah, and also there's one other very, very interesting fact is that most of the other works that I have performed, at least 95%, are the works that have been already written and been performed by other people. So there are
Comparisons.
well, at least there are references because there's recordings, there's videos, so one could listen to it, and try to get some, in a way, suggestions from listening or from watching it. But this is absolutely from scratch. I see the score, so I have to come up with everything, how to interpret it, how to put my fingerings, how to put my bowings into the piece. So it's quite obviously there were challenges, obviously, but once you overcome those obstacles, I shouldn't say that. it's not obstacles, it's just some challenge, but once you have conquered that, it feels so fulfilling and feels really nice.
Beyond Zhao Jiping's Violin Concerto No. 1, are there 2 or 3 Chinese violin works that you particularly love and often perform? We would love to hear your recommendations.
Well, I mean, of course, I mean, as I said earlier, if we think about the the Chinese violin music, I would say that it's almost a instinct that everybody would say, okay, well, Liang Zhu, the Butterfly Lover Concerto, and this obviously is one of the concertos that everybody performs so often. And also, I've performed quite many times Mr. Chen Qigang's Violin Concerto, and I even did. I didn't do the world premiere, but I did the U.S. premiere in America, and that is also a very, very, very successful piece. It combined the traditional Chinese philosophic thoughts with the very, very modernized Western musical language.
Thank you for sharing these pieces. Hopefully more listeners around the world will get to discover them. Looking at the broader picture, China's cultural influence internationally has been growing rapidly in recent years. How do you view this momentum, especially when it comes to classical music? And do you have any future plans to introduce more Chinese violin repertoire to global stages?
Well, on that topic, I think the first thing that we should be feeling grateful about to be very proud about, is the strong statement that our country is making on the world stage. Because what we do as a musician, people would look at us in a completely different way if our country is not leading in so many other territories in the world. I mean, we are setting examples to the whole world in so many aspects. And to go along with that, we have our musicians, we have our even classical, I mean Western classical, but Chinese musicians. So this, I feel grateful, I feel thankful to our country. And because the bigger platform that our country have created, have prepared for us, so we have the opportunity to bring out, as I said earlier, we are a messenger. So we are able to deliver that message to the whole world. And as I said, we've been performing that 3 works. I've played all over the world, and I will obviously be continued to do that. And I would also, if the opportunity presents again, I would be honored and more than happy to play any newly composed violin pieces.
Well, it's truly inspiring to see artists like you serving as bridges between cultures. Thank you so much, Mr. Ning Feng. We wish you all the best for your upcoming performances and future projects. Hope to see you back at the NCPA very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to NCPA On Stage on your favorite podcast platforms. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, CGTN Podcast, the NCPA Classical Music Channel, and many more. We hope to have you with us again very soon. Until next time, bye for now.